Hi, boys and girls. Today's lesson is on how to write a letter. Now, why would you want to write a letter? Yeah, many of you have told me that your family, parts of your family lives in different places and that you're videoing and emailing, but I don't know about you, but when I get a piece of mail in the mailbox and it's not a bill or it's not like junk mail that you just throw away, but it's an actual letter for me from somebody, I get so excited about that. So I thought, why not teach everybody how to actually write a letter? So that's what I'm going to do today. And boys and girls, the first thing that you do when you write a letter is you put your address. Because if you write a letter, don't you want them to write you a letter back? I sure do. So I always start with putting my address at the top of the page. I don't put it on the left where we start writing, but I put it on the right. I put my address. And that way, when the person has read my letter, they can write me a letter back. So my mailing address is Post Office Box 151538, and I live in San Rafael, California, and my zip code is 94915. So you always put your address at the top right-hand corner of the page, right there, my address. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to put the date. So today I am writing on Wednesday, which is such a weird word, Wednesday, May 6th, 2020 is when I am writing. So boys and girls, the very next thing you do is you put your date right underneath where you have written your address. Okay? Now, that's a good start for our letter. The next thing you want to do is you want to say who you're writing to. I think today I'm going to write to my dad. So I'm going to come back over to the left-hand side of the page, and I'm going to say, Dear Dad, comma. I put that comma there because this is saying who I'm writing to, and the comma tells you that I'm going to take a breath, and now I'm going to get started on what I want to say to my dad. So when you write your letter, don't forget, put the name of the person that you're writing to right there. Now I'm going to start writing. What do I want to say to Dad? Dear Dad. I'm going to do this funny little thing that's called indenting where I skip a little space before I start writing. I talked to Kimberly. Kimberly's my sister. I'm going to write all the things that I want to say to my dad right here in my letter. I'm going to tell him everything I want to say. But just because I don't want you guys to have to wait for me to write all of that, I already wrote some things that I wanted to say to him, and I'll just read it to you. I talked to Kimberly on the phone yesterday, and she said you aren't feeling very well. I hope you are feeling better by the time you get this letter. So, do you see how I started out talking to him, and now I'm going to switch gears and talk about something else. I'm switching gears, so I'm doing another indentation. That means just skipping a little space so he can see that I'm going to talk about something else. How is your garden doing? I bet it's big and beautiful. Did you plant broccoli this year? I can't wait to taste it when I get there. So that's what I started out with. I'm going to switch gears one more time and write just a little bit more. I'm going to tell him, my dog Bandit, I have a dog named Bandit, wishes he could go see you. I wish I could too, but we are having a shelter in place. I'm wondering if my dad is having a shelter in place also. I think he is because he lives in Mississippi. So I guess that's all I want to say to my dad today. You guys, I wrote everything I wanted to say right here in my letter. And do you see how I wrote a lot of writing there? When you write all that you want to say to a person, it's called the body of the letter. Now, the body, if you see right here, the body is the biggest part. So in my letter, the body is the biggest part. Now, after I'm finished with the body of my letter, I'm going to do this thing where I'm going to sign off. And how I sign off depends on how I feel about the person that I'm writing. Now, I personally love my dad, so I'm not just going to say goodbye. I'm going to say love always. So I'm going to skip one little space and I'm going to write love always, because I will always love my dad. And then I'm going to put a comma. But if you're writing your best friend, you could say best friends for always. Or if you're writing somebody that you just know a little bit, you could say something like best wishes or yours truly. So that's where you're signing off. And then what do you think the very last thing I'm going to write in my letter? Like, how does my dad know who's writing to him? He doesn't yet, right? So I have to put my name at the very end. Love always. I'm going to put my name, Rebecca. That's my name. So you guys, I want to encourage you, if you know somebody that lives far away and you think that they would enjoy getting a letter from you, now you know how to write a letter. Who could you write a letter to? You could write a letter to a friend, to a family member who doesn't live close to you. Oh my gosh, I bet they would love to get a letter from you. And then tell them all about what's going on in your life and maybe ask them some questions about what's going on in their life. Happy letter writing, everybody.